Hey, Periscope people, this is Ken Okel, and I'm happy to be talking to you about this week's Whiner of the Week. I thought it was one that would merit a little more discussion, perhaps, because, let's face it, rudeness in the workplace, we all have experienced it, and it turns out we may be having a little bit more of it soon than we thought. So, let's talk about that. But first, a quick little reminder, what is the Whiner of the Week? Some of you may be wondering. It's a weekly award that I give out to something or someone that is doing something that's just kind of outrageous. It kind of makes you scratch your head, maybe pull your hair. I don't want to do too much of that. And I like to put the spotlight on them. So past Whiners of the Weeks, Whole Foods was recently found to be charging people too much for certain take-home packs. Whiner of the Week. Last week we had that the drug lord who escaped from the Mexican jail. Whiner of the Week for the maximum security penitentiary that apparently wasn't that secure anyway. So this week we are talking about rudeness on the job because there was a survey that came out recently out of the University of Florida, and it was about how rudeness can be contagious in the workplace. Basically, researchers did a study where they put people in different scenarios where they were able to measure rudeness and people's tendency to escalate things over time. So let's say, for instance, in a scenario, a bunch of staff members are meeting and one person comes in late. And let's say the big boss goes, "Why are you late?" And really chastises the person, makes them feel bad. Well, everyone in that audience kind of processes that event, and they, in effect, become more rude as well. It's as if they suddenly say, "Oh, this is the new standard. This is the behavior that I'm going to model." I don't know about you, but that's a bit of a concern because over time, rudeness escalates. And maybe you've gone into a restaurant or some sort of other business where, like, right from the first person you interact with, everyone's kind of being rude or snappy or almost acting like they're entitled to have your business instead of trying to earn it. Well, this is why. And I think as well, the rudeness is contagious in the workplace. And this was even more interesting. After just one exposure, someone could have their personality, flipped or changed to that rude side. I mean, that's pretty amazing if you think about it. I don't think the rude behavior ends on the job. When 5 or 6 o'clock rolls around, I don't think people become nice all of a sudden. I mean, look at the roads where we have all this road rage going on. People go home. When they get home to their families, are they still locked into that mode where you're just kind of rude to everybody? So, how do we fix this problem? Well, a couple suggestions come to mind. Really often, two things. Leadership needs to set the tone in terms of what is acceptable and what is not. And you got to walk the talk as well. Some leaders may be more like screamers and stuff, but they need to realize if your behavior is undermining everyone, then it's not really the best strategy. Often they see in sports leagues where the coach who yells is successful for a little while, but over time, incessant screaming just kind of drives people crazy and turns them off and turns them away. So you really have to make sure that there's a good culture and organization, people are following it. As well, you need all the employees to take responsibility as well. For instance, in that scenario where someone comes rude, is accused of being late to the meeting. Now, you don't know the whole scenario that person was going through. Perhaps they had a sick child or something like that. They had a flat tire. You don't know. So is that the best thing to do in a public setting, to put the spotlight on them, to make them feel bad? I don't think so. So the good news is we can control these things. The bad news is it may have become a bit of a default mechanism for a lot of people and a lot of organizations. And hopefully we can make it that much better because I think rude behavior becomes exhausting, even in the inter-office interactions where, you have to ask somebody for a form and they kind of roll their eyes and do all this big production. We don't need that. Work should not be the place where people come for therapy. Plenty of good therapists who are over there. They're certified. They're good. Let them help you. Don't be venting at your coworkers. So hopefully we can bring a little attention through the Whiner of the Week to the problem of rudeness. So that is it for today. I want to remind you, though, we do put these Periscopes for the Whiner of the Week up on YouTube, my YouTube account. It's just like my Twitter account and all my other accounts, K-E-N-O-K-E-L. That's my name, Ken Okel. Easy to access and look at as well, because I know sometimes it's hard to hit the 24 hours. So I hope you guys have gotten something out of this, and it's an important thing to keep in mind as you go in the job, that you can have tremendous influence on people, especially from the contagious nature of rude behavior that they found. If you make the choice, hey, I'm not going to spread this. Just because someone was a jerk, I'm not going to repeat it to the next person whom I meet. So, hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm Ken Okel. I'll talk to you soon.